Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Excellence Podcast with your host, Tracy Hayes. Once again, I have the best of the best here today. If you are looking at real estate, thinking about going into the real estate career, whether it's an agent or even a support position, this is the lady to know in St. Augustine. She's the vice president and managing broker. She is a vice president and the managing broker of Watson Realty of St. Augustine Beach. She is in the leadership of the St. Augustine St. Johns County Board of Realtors, next year's president in 2022. Yes. She comes highly regarded by her peers, and most importantly, she brings sunshine to any room that she enters. Folks, let's welcome Beth Ruggeri to the show. Beth, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad.
Much.
Thank you. I'm glad you were able to make it by today. And I think the knowledge and experience is I've known you for several years now. And then looking at your resume, I mean, anyone looking to get into real estate in St. Augustine, I mean, Beth is really, you are a resource for them. And I assume that Watson keeps you where you're at because you run a successful brokerage, as crazy as it can be with that many agents.
I hope so, Mr. Watson.
So, Beth, I just want to start off the show just to basically let everybody get to know you. I mean, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Cincinnati and lived in northern Ohio for a while. And then my dad was a hospital administrator and got a position with Humana. So we moved to Louisville, Kentucky, which is their headquarters, and a brief stint in Illinois, and then ended up where I grew up is in Fort Walton Beach.
Oh, okay.
Panhandle.
All right.
The Redneck Riviera. And grew up there. I went to Auburn and graduated from Auburn, War Eagle.
What led you to go from Fort Walton all the way to Auburn? What attracted you there?
My next door neighbors there were retired lieutenant colonels in the Air Force, which there's Eglin Air Force Base over there. Right. And they were a big athletic booster supporter. She actually was first cousins with Bobby Bowden because there's such a FSU, Auburn connection.
Right.
And when I was growing up, she used to have all the Auburn football players would be at her house and have parties. And she had, they had a plane called the War Eagle, a Cessna, and used to fly us up to the Auburn football games. So all of my friends went to FSU except for my best friend Tracy and me. I told my parents I'm going to Auburn, and they said, okay, fine. So had a great time.
How cool is that, though?
Yeah.
So you're in high school. They're inviting you and your parents to fly up for a game on their plane.
Well, my parents didn't go, just myself and my friends.
Even better.
It was only a 4-seater, so there wasn't room for them. We went up, and
oh, that's cool.
Their daughter lived in Auburn. She was married to an attorney in Auburn, and just had a good time.
And you had it sounds like being a big booster, you probably had a VIP treatment and everything while you were there.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So at that time, I mean, what did you envision yourself, doing? I think is it a business degree? I think you at Auburn. I mean, what did you think you were doing?
Okay, people that know me, they're like, what? I actually had a degree and a minor. I had marketing and fashion merchandising. My goal in Auburn was to work at the Atlanta Apparel Mart, and I went to Europe and did a fashion tour, and I used to do fashion illustration, and that was my goal. Then I got engaged to someone who was from St. Augustine, and I moved down here in '86. St. Augustine, for those of you that have
it's
been
not a
around
fashion market?
No, and for those of you that have been around for quite some time, the roads weren't even paved at the beach. A1A was paved. The rest were dirt roads. There was nothing going on.
Wow.
But they were building condos on the ocean, and they had signs out that said, we need realtors. So I got my real estate license, and I've been doing this since 1986.
Wow. That, and the history of St. Augustine, it obviously goes back hundreds of years. What I find very interesting is when you do find people like yourself that have been around and seen the dirt roads and to where we're at now and the stories. I think one of the treasures of St. Augustine is going down and taking one of the carriage tours and getting your personal tour with them, because there's different stories. Each time you go, there's you go down a different street, there's a different story. But how amazing. I mean, and I really didn't take grass St. Augustine till really 2009 when I came here. But and people tell me Route 210, where my subdivision's off of, was dirt not much earlier, earlier than that. And how fast things are growing here. And would you agree we're probably on another spurt right now?
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I think the next decade really for Northeast Florida is going to be the real estate decade for
and
us.
now 207 has so many new homes being built there.
Mm-hmm.
And then even going down into Palm Coast and the northern St. Johns County is the number one school district in the state for I think 10 years now.
Right.
And so many people want to come live in St. Johns County.
Yep. Taxes are great. The schools are top notch, and there really is a lot of opportunity. Jacksonville's bringing a lot of opportunity definitely from the financial for upscale jobs. For the right paying jobs. So you sort of were a site agent working for the condos, or
Yes, I worked on. There was 3 different condos that I was a site agent, and then my brother-in-law is a builder in St. Johns County, Ruggeri Construction, and I knew the developers of 3 subdivisions. We did Summer Island, Beach Walk, and Eagle Creek with those developers, and he was the builder, and I was the site agent, and ran those hundreds of homes we built for 8 years. So I did that, and in 2002, I got my broker's license. We started our own real estate company, Ruggeri Realty, which I had.
That was on my question. Yeah, how did you go into that?
The developers did these 3 subdivisions, and then they were looking for land, and that was right around 2003, and the market was getting more and more and more expensive, and they could not find land that they, were willing to develop. So they ended up going down to Daytona and doing some other things. I opened up my own brokerage and ran that for many years. And then I had to shut it down because of divorce. But that's when I went to Watson in 2010. And I've been there since 2010.
Did you just start off at Watson as just a regular agent yourself?
I was a broker associate. And in 2013, the current broker decided to move to South Florida, and
bless their heart,
they asked me to take over.
Well, I mean, that's one of the interesting, obviously, talking to a lot of agents, there's a lot of agents that have come through the Watson channel, if you want to call it. I mean, because they obviously you do a lot of training and for the introductory for the license and recruiting. That's his model from there. Yeah. And some agents have put some serious time in. Some agents just kind of flash and go. But I think you kind of have a unique office there at the beach. Where you kind of, in my outside opinion, you got the beach dwellers, you've got the condos people, you got the Airbnbers and so forth. You kind of got that kind but you're just a stone's throw to right over to the regular subdivision selling the elementary school or whatever in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we have agents that work all over St. Johns County, even some in Jacksonville. I think more the agents that grew up in Jacksonville that are familiar with it. For the most part, we concentrate in St. Johns County. Some of them work Palatka, Wielaka, because they grew up there and they're familiar with it.
Right.
So,
that's an area I think is about to explode.
Yeah.
Palatka to Green Cove Springs on the other side of the river when the expressway's completed.
And I think there's a Bass Pro Shop being built by Wielaka now, from what I heard.
Down in Wielaka, wow, that would be interesting. Wielaka's an interesting place down. I've been, I mean, my parents were RVing, and one winter they spent the winter down there, parked the RV right on the river and so forth. So obviously we drive down there. It's a great place to get away, and it's not that far away.
I know.
It seems like a far away, but really it's not. It's just less than 45 minutes for most people in St. Johns County to get down there and so forth.
It's far enough.
But leading a large office like you do. I mean, it's not like you have a team of 4 or 5 people. I mean, I mean, how many agents you have right now active?
51.
51. I'm sure at times it's been greater. Probably other times it's been a little bit less. But 50 agents that you're overseeing. You know, obviously we know a percentage of them are they hang their license. They're not too active, but it takes a lot of personal development to kind of stay on top of these people and stay in front of the industry. What are some of the things that I mean? Do you read or you listen to podcasts? What are some of the things that you try to do, or does Watson provide to help you as the managing broker to stay out front?
Well, we do a lot of training and have group meetings to stay on top of current market situations. And then within my office, I have agents that have been with us for 30 years.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of experience. I have a great admin staff support that helps out and training.
Mm-hmm.
We do mentor programs with new agents. So they buddy up with someone who's been at the office for quite some time and experienced to help them out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of a mix between very self-sufficient, been in the business for so long, you know, great, kind of low maintenance. Every once in a while they have an issue that I have to help them with.
Right.
And then there's the newer agents that you're trying to help build their business and learn how to farm and market. And
So you're a resource for a lot of them, and obviously it's probably some of your senior agents help out as well.
yeah.
Who is your resource? Who do you look up to in your position to, you know, when maybe you need some new ideas?
Well, we have, you know, my regional vice president, which is Mark Rosner. Ed Foreman is our president,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Watson. We have a full marketing department and training and IT and, you know, all encompassing at Watson that
Right.
helps me out when I need it.
And having been there now over coming on to almost 12 years, 11 years, right?
Yeah,
Plus
11
now,
years.
right? You've become a regular fixture in their leadership room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say going back. What do you feel your biggest strength as the managing partner is? What do you bring to the office every day?
I think my biggest asset is my knowledge and my ability to work with everybody in the market. I mean, most people that have been in real estate, St. Augustine's a small market, and I know almost all of them
Mm-hmm.
and work well with them. So I think, you know, that and the training, and we just have such a family atmosphere. I always have a positive attitude no matter what. Things don't get me down.
I said that in my intro.
Yeah.
Every time I see Beth, you're always smiling, or
Yeah.
you know, or you're involved in something and bringing something to the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. You got to be positive and focused, and just if something doesn't go right, which sometimes it does, next, move on. Let's get something else
Right.
positive on the table.
Dealing what we've obviously been dealing with the last 18 months with COVID, I'm sure, you know, we've been kind of fortunate here in Northeast Florida that, yeah, there was a moment there, I think people were hesitating, but then things exploded.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, as even in loan officers, that fear of the next change, right? The market's something's going to happen. You've been through some changes, you know,
Yeah.
having, you know, been here, let alone St. Augustine, but just been in real estate. Obviously, the 2007, 8, 9, you know,
This
collapse.
is
I mean,
totally different.
Yeah.
Something like that I don't think will ever happen again.
right.
Ever.
How do you know, imagine you've had to coach or console some of them to kind of keep, you know, we kind of dwell to the negativity. I mean, it's natural for most people to dwell to that. You bring the sunshine to the room. How have you kind of shared your experiences in the years of the roller coaster of real estate that it can be with the agents today that, you know, maybe just started 3 or 4 years ago and never seen any change, let alone I think it's a positive change for us because the market's so hot.
Yeah.
But yet it's tough finding existing homes too, right?
That, I think, has been the biggest challenge, and I think for first-time home buyers or somebody doing an FHA or a VA loan, that is the biggest challenge because the multiple offers have let up a little bit. There's not as many, but there's still, the inventory is very low. So if you're a buyer, you have to be well-qualified, pre-approved.
Right.
And what I'm seeing now is mainly cash or conventional loans with a substantial down payment.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest hurdle. And newer agents tend to work with buyers more. For the most part, they're not going to get listings right away.
Right.
And so they may be working with buyers, and I have to make sure that they have them very well qualified before they're going to show property.
Because it could be, I think a lot of agents, I see it because one thing I've always, when I came from the call center in the last 4 years, being in the retail world and obviously meeting you, some of these agents, they're out there showing houses, and a year or two ago, that's okay. Okay, they want to make an offer, call, let's get you call. Within the hour, you could have a pre-qualification letter. But in today's market, if you're out there on a Saturday, first of all, you got to hope someone answers the phone to do your pre-qualification letter because it's on the weekend, and that seller may make a decision right there and then. They may just take 2 or 3 offers and make a decision and say, I'm done.
Yeah.
Walk away. They're not going to maybe not wait till Monday. And, to get some of these agents, I'm sure you coach and in training is, don't even really go out and show them, especially now, homes until they're pre-qualified because you don't use up your weekend.
That has been, I think, one of the positives to COVID is agents aren't spending 3 or 4 months showing hundreds of houses to lookers around there. It's like you need to be determined. I want to buy a house, and you may show them like the TV show on there, 3 homes, pick one, because you got to buy one of these.
Right. If you can get the 3 homes.
I know. I know.
I've been hearing as well the cash offers coming in. I know applications are down from the mortgage side, and the builder we work with, their applications are down as they're trying to fight through what they already have in process and then in the build process. Supplies, obviously, in the new construction. I think, I don't even know do you know what the percentage of sales of new construction to current homes in St. Johns County?
I don't know.
Off the top of your head? I wonder what that is. I just thought of that question off the top of its head. It's because obviously I think in 2022, new construction is probably going to lead the way because that's what's going to be available.
It is because of all the, the new super subdivisions, I call them, the 900 homes, the 700 homes, and there's just not a lot of resale inventory. And I think that's the issue with sellers right now is they would sell their house and cash out, but where are they going to go? They, unless they're upsizing, downsizing, moving out of the area, they have to be very cautious with where they're going to move to.
If you're consulting a seller right now on, hey, we're going to put this house up for sale, you're probably going to have multiple offers. As, the broker, you're coaching your team or yourself, what are you telling that, how are you preparing that seller of what's about to happen in the next 72, 86, 96 hours. Next 3 or 4 days in a sense of showings, offers, what do you coach them for? How do you prepare them for that?
Well, for the most part, if the house is good and it's priced right, if they're doing an open house or, for the weekend, I tell them be prepared to be out of the house for the entire weekend, pretty much, because there's going to be back-to-back showings. Mm-hmm. Most sellers are getting, their offers. They may say, give us your offer by a certain date and time, and we'll review all offers. So it kind of motivates buyers agents to get in there, show it, and submit an offer if they're going to.
Yeah, I think sometimes I sense that some of them are making a decision too quickly. To give another day let those showings happen to get their best dollar. But that's a loan officer's opinion on that.
And I would always advise them that too. Give a few days and give people a chance. And there's a lot of buyers that have been doing sight unseen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just look at the video tour or have their agent go do a FaceTime or video. They make the offer. Sometimes they'll come down and look at the house during the inspection period, and sometimes they don't see it till they close.
That just totally blows my mind. Yeah, that totally blows my mind there that they're willing to do that. It's like, you're willing to spend that much money and you can't fly down for a day? even a few hours.
We had one. It was over a $4 million oceanfront house, and the lady was from California, and she did not see it until she moved in.
Oh my!
She loves it, thankfully.
She was probably downsizing to that.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, isn't it interesting? I've been noticing a lot of West Coasters, even from Washington State, Oregon,
Colorado too. Mm-hmm. A lot of California people, yes.
I noticed. I dropped my kids off at the school last week, and I was just noticing driving through the parking lot, as obviously St. Johns County is hiring a lot of teachers, and noticing the license plates, where some of these teachers that just moved here are coming from. You know, all from whether it's New Jersey or California, Texas, Washington State, whatever. You know, that I find very interesting. So we talked about the selling and the buyers. So you're preparing, because this is where your expertise come in. I'm sure right now you're being you and your senior agents in structuring that buyer's offer. You have to be a little creative, don't you?
You do. Now, one thing I've been seeing, and we do not allow that, we don't accept it, and we tell agents not to, is the love letter.
Yes.
The buyer's love letter is a no-no.
Yes.
Because of possible fair housing violations.
Right.
But we're seeing agents from other offices submit their love letter with their offer. That's a no-no. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot of appraisal gaps. There's a lot of very short inspection periods.
Just to go into love letter for me, because I was listening to a podcast not too long ago, great one to listen to. It's the shit that happens in real estate. It's actually, she's from the Carolinas. I think she lives in Charlotte now, but she was talking about the love letter, and she says she takes it out. She says if realtor said, she said, you could send me whatever you want, but it ain't, my seller is not going to see that.
It's not going to be submitted to the seller.
Right.
And it is because of fair housing, because they may have something in the letter that could, be discriminatory against one of the protected classes, mm-hmm. and we just can't go down that route.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is great to, think about, to keep housing, and I think it's a legitimate thing to put together and try to appeal to the seller, but I don't know. I think the average seller, they're selling their home, they're just looking at the offer anyway. I mean, how many sellers would take a lesser offer?
They wouldn't take a lesser offer, but I have seen in the past where it's a similar offer and maybe
it pushes them over the edge.
Yeah, or they have a friend that lives in the neighborhood, or my daughter would love.
Well, have your friend go over, knock on their door, and ask them to take your offer.
I
know. Okay. Oh. Let's get back actually in the deeper part of it. What do you think is the most challenging part of your day, week, month at Watson? Not Watson because it's a company, but just managing that large of an office that doesn't necessarily bring you to sunshine, but you have to deal with every day. But it's part of the business.
I think and things have changed since COVID too. We used to have a lot more in person. Everybody working from the office, which I think is great because newer agents feed off of everybody in the office.
Right.
There's so many helpful stories. There's so many helpful people. If they need help, there's 10 people in the office to help them out. When people start working at home more, I feel like some of them would get lost. And that's what I think is the worst thing for a brand new agent, is to go to one of these companies that doesn't have structure, training, people in the office. They're just at home lost, not knowing what to do. So I think that's it, getting the agents to stay on track, focus. They have to prospect, and to make sure that they prospect every day is...
Right. You're trying to help them. I mean, ultimately, they got to do it. But the same thing is with in the lending side. I mean, the younger guys, I say, you got to list, you got to be here in the office, because you're going to hear. I grew up in my mortgage world 12 years in a call center. So we were all close together. You hear the deals that are getting done. Yeah. Oh, you know what? So-and-so had a deal like that. How did that work? How did that happen? How did you make it happen? You miss those stories.
Yeah.
How you structured the deal and win that offer, especially right now with
Or if you have a question or a problem, or you're writing an offer or something, mm-hmm. there's someone there to help you.
Right.
If you have a question, and if you're just at home, you don't have that.
You're going to be president of the St. Augustine St. John's board next year.
The MLS. Mm-hmm.
And you obviously have some things in your mind, and you're going to go in that leadership. Maybe you're going to change, or because you feel there's a better way to do it, or just maybe there's points of emphasis that you want to make that others haven't in the past. As any leader comes into any situation. My question was, if you were, the Florida Realtor said, "Hey, Beth, we want to come and have you speak at the convention." Whether you think you may all go, "Oh my God, no, I can't do that. I don't want to stand in front of 1,000 people."
Yeah.
But what would be a topic you think that's close to you, that you think it's important for not only your agents in your office, but the real estate agent industry really in general?
Well, what we are working on now, and I see this as the future, is like a regional data share for the MLS, for Northeast Florida, for our board, for Flagler. Boards are Gainesville just joined Stellar, which is Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Miami, South Florida is huge. And we really need to make it easier for the agents to have, data in one source. So we're meeting with NEFAR, the board, with the NEFAR board, and to try to work on that this coming year.
Because right now, unless they belong to NEFAR, they can't access their MLS. Am I correct? Is that how that works? Okay.
Correct.
And
I'm
vice
actually a
versa.
member of 3. I'm a member of NEFAR, St. John's, and Flagler MLS,
Right.
which is a lot. And
Right.
so we're trying to make it easy, and and then agents, if you're looking in a neighborhood, you can say, okay, I want to look at, San Salito, and there might be one, and then you have to go into NEFAR because there might be a listing into that, or there might be a listing from Flagler County,
Right.
and so you have to do that. So
I know it was funny not knowing much about the boards, but that was probably one of the first things that an agent that I remember saying, the challenge between the St. John's, St. Augustine board and NEFAR, and having to belong to both. Matter of fact, I know agents, like yourself, you belong to both because that way you can access both. Yeah, to not have those at one fingertip touch, and see everything at one time. I mean, obviously that's technology, and it obviously can be done. I can't believe. Yeah.
There's a cost involved, and there's a cooperation from
the boards.
The boards involved that needs to happen. So that's what we're really focusing on next year at the board. Also with the, I'm chair of the education committee, so bringing new classes to the board, and we raise funds for the scholarship.
Right.
Fund,
which the golf tournament is October 29th. If you haven't joined already, those are on Facebook. You can contact the St. John St. Augustine board or Beth, and for sponsorship opportunities or just to play.
Yeah, we're looking. Our sponsors are getting kind of full, but we still do have opportunities available. And golfers, you can always come out and golf. It's $85 or $320 for.
And this is going to the scholarship fund for the schools in St. Augustine. To give some kids a few $1,000s or whatever, how that breaks down. Yeah. To that. And I think your goal, if I heard you correctly the other day, you were on there with Berta about, you guys try to raise about $10,000 for that?
Yeah, we've given away $10,000 in scholarships every year since, I want to say 13 years probably. And so we give 10 scholarships. St. Johns County high school students, they could be from any of the public high schools. They can be from private, deaf and blind school, homeschool, and they can use it for whatever they want to. They could use it for books, a laptop, part of their tuition.
I want to step. We were talking about the different boards because I said, realtors say stuff to me. Some of the things I understand and don't understand, but I really, I think some of them say like, well, why should St. Augustine, St. John's have their own board? Why don't they just belong under NEFAR? And I really disagree with that. I think the board down there, as I've, gotten to know people, St. Augustine is old town. St. Augustine, the beach. Yeah. It's a separate, it's just like Fernandina Beach. They need to have their area there. NEFAR can't cover it all. Your office is centrally located in Jacksonville, but for someone living in St. Augustine Beach to go to the NEFAR office is a trip.
Well, we like to have our local board.
And there's things going on in downtown St. Augustine as Airbnb and so forth in the political spectrum right now in the rentals. It's important to have that board there to represent and be close for the education part. Yeah. In my opinion.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I would never agree to give that up or suggest to give that part up. Who has been the most influence in your career?
Oh gosh. Most influence on my career, that's a tough one. I really think working when I first started in new construction and development, there was people that were there that had been in that business for so long, and they were my mentors and taught me so much about the whole construction process and about sales and marketing, and I think that's really how I got my beginning.
Really
in
launched
real estate.
your career to take you where, What is the most fulfilling part of your profession?
I think seeing people succeed, and new agents, and they reach their goals, or the first year they may do a few million, then go to 5, then 7, then 11, and then
change their entire lifestyle. There's no.
life.
I mean, I'm sure. We threw names back and forth. I know some of the people you're talking about, and having seen them stick with it, stick to the test, and also start breaking through, and now living a lifestyle they probably even didn't dream about. They dreamt about it as a real estate.
Yeah.
Now they're even beyond that.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
and it's hard work, and a lot of them that are so successful now, they said, I never thought it would be this hard of work, but I never thought I could make this kind of money either. So it's a combination.
All right. I have my 2-minute warning questions as we wrap up. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wrap up. As you know, I officiate football, so I call them 2-minute warnings. Some call it, I don't know, the different names, other podcasters, but I call it 2-minute warning.
Okay.
Is it more important who you know or what you know?
I think it's who you know, because it's all connections. It's like I tell newer agents, it's a people business, and it's networking. We can teach you the rest. Like, don't worry about the contracts or the listings. We'll help you with all that, but you got to get out there and
shake hands,
people.
kiss babies.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. If you were going back to just being an agent, would you, and you had to choose listing or buying, which side would you take?
Listing, 100%.
Plant the seeds. I call them traps. Each house is a trap, and you let the agents go. The other agents coming through and sell it.
I've always told agents, you list to last, and your lifestyle is better. You control the market, you control your destiny, and you're not driving all over the county showing
I still
property.
see people doing open houses right now in this market, knowing that they don't even really have to do it.
Yeah.
What are you recommending to your agents right now?
I've had a lot of agents that have built quite a good business from doing open houses. The problem is lack of inventory, but I do encourage them to do it in safety precautions and social distance. And
So even though they're going to get multiple offers, you know it's going to sell in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Still do that open house to.
well, to me, it shows if that agent is doing an open house, it shows that they're a hardworking agent. And I've gotten, and other agents have gotten, offspring business from having an open house.
Right.
A seller that lives right down the street might say, hey, I'm thinking of selling my house.
Or the buyer comes in represented.
Not very often do you sell that particular house that you're holding the open house in, but you get business from it.
Sure. What is on your travel bucket list?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Never been there.
I've never been there either. The only thing right now that would attract me there, obviously, as I do want to go to France to go to the beaches of Normandy, is go to Pearl Harbor there, but definitely wouldn't mind going diving in Hawaii.
I just would. I mean, I've been all over Europe, and Greece was the favorite place I've ever been in my life, and it's beautiful, and I would love to go back, but I've just never been to Hawaii. So,
well, Beth, as every guest that I come on, I give a gift to, and you already told me you read Sell Like Sirhan.
I do.
So I've got Ryan's latest book here, Big Money Energy, which I think was sometime last year that came out. So this copy is brand new to you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming by. Look forward to the golf tournament, October 29th. Contact the St. John's Board, St. Augustine St. John's Board for the it's a charity. So you know, you say, 85, and I think a lot of people go, $85 to play golf. It's a charity. They're raising money, and you're obviously.
But you also get golf cart. You get drinks, food, entertainment, prizes.
You're going to spend that much if you go to the golf cart when you do that right there. Yeah. So, Jet Home Loans is a sponsor there. We're honored to do that, and hopefully look see a lot of the the agents as well as other supporting affiliates as us.
It'll be a fun event.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beth, thanks again.
Thank you.